On Billboard tonight, Life and Times of Pavarotti, a story of women in wartime, and radio stars go to the theatre. Welcome to Billboard with me, Ted Stanley, for a roundup of theatre, music, art and literature in East Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire. And a special welcome tonight to Lincolnshire author Julian Earle, whose new book is launched this month. There's no shortage of open-air events in the region this month, and you can spend a balmy summer's evening with a picnic and a play as the Chapter House Theatre Company tour the region's stately homes with a series of period dramas. Tony Barker caught up with the actors at Burnby Hall Gardens.
So I think a real challenge with outdoor theatre is that you need to make it quite open and warm, and often it's great for these shows to be funny. And that's what Laura does brilliantly with both Treasure Island and Secret Garden. She's made them a lot of fun to watch.
For Chapter House, the summer's a really important time for tours, and you're doing more, of course, in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. So whereabouts, what are the dates?
So we've got Pride and Prejudice at Elsham Hall on the 18th of August, and then we've also got Burnby Hall where Cranford is going to be performed on the 9th of August too.
Tickets for the Chapter House Theatre Tour are available from www.chapterhouse.org. Other open-air events include a family day at Appleby's Ice Cream in Conisholme, featuring a fun fair and display of classic cars organised by the Lincolnshire Automobile Club. Behind the gift shop, a secret gallery displays work from over 30 local artists. The event is on the 3rd and 4th of August. Entry is free. Further details from lincolnshireautomobileclub.com. Retired vet Julian Earle discovered his talent for writing after a serious cycling accident. His highly acclaimed first book, Cows in Trees, has now been published in a new edition by Hammond House.
The book is full of true stories from my career as a vet. And I was indeed once called to a cow stuck up a tree.
How?
Well, when this happened when I was working up in Lancashire, and I've tried to explain to people that up in Lancashire they have a special breed of cow that builds nests in trees, or else it was a cow that went parachuting and it got stuck in a tree on the way down. And for some reason, nobody believes me when I tell us, but the truth is out there, or rather the truth is in there, it's in the book, so yeah.
Julian's hilarious new book, The Dog with Their Head Transplant, will be launched later this month at the Walled Garden Literary Festival in Baumber. We met up with festival organiser Nikki Benet to find out more.
Here you've got a double walled garden, which is an incredible thing to have because the majority of walled gardens throughout the UK are not complete. Sonia and Dave Elton, who own it now, they've completely taken the space and turned it into a really inspiring, beautiful garden that people can come and visit. They open it every Thursday and Friday between 11 and 4, and they run a variety of incredible courses. We have the different areas of the garden. You know, the pond was something that they did, and they dug it out, and it's a swimming pond.
That's actually a swimming lake.
It really is, yeah.
One of your key events this year is the Literary Festival.
Yes.
What gave you the idea to run a Literary Festival?
Well, the last couple of years we have had workshops run here for creative writing workshops, and at the end of the course we've had an anthology published of all the short stories that these brilliant people have created. And we just thought that's brilliant, and it's lovely that people come here and they feel inspired. It is a place where people come and you find them writing poetry, and you find people wandering around, and hopefully people will come and visit them, and the festival will be a perfect excuse for like-minded people to come together. We've got some brilliant things. We've got creative writing workshops, poetry workshops. We also have a second-hand bookstore that's coming, and a literary agent coming from Darley Anderson, a marquee, which is full of, we call it writer's marquee.
And I understand a couple of the authors are taking the opportunity to launch new books at the
Yes,
festival.
absolutely. Gav Bowden and Julian Earl, yeah, they've got two very different, equally brilliant books. It's accessible for anybody and everybody, so come along and, you know, if you think, oh, my other half's really into this, but I'm not. It's not a terrible place to be anyway. you know, if you think it's not quite my thing, but you've got the atmosphere, the environment, the homemade cake, which is always a bonus for me.
Sponsored by Hammond House, the festival includes details of local writers groups you can join and a free taster session for the 6-week creative writing programme starting on the 15th of August. You can book a place at wallgardenbaumber.com. Now, still on a literary theme, here's Hugh Richards with his review of the latest book releases.
The history of Britain's relationship with the Middle East since 1945 tends to encourage certain assumptions. Britain ruled Palestine and Aden, was kingmaker in Iraq, Jordan and Egypt, a powerful influence over Oman and the Gulf states. The region was important before the war as an imperial security for British India, important after the war for oil, and yet Britain lost her influence in the face of Jewish and Arab nationalism. James Barr's new book, Lords of the Desert, emphasises the role of the USA in weakening British influence. The closest ally was the real enemy, as from Alamein to Suez, Aden to Iran, the Americans worked openly and clandestinely to undermine British power in the Middle East. Booker Prize winner Howard Jacobson delivers a love story in his latest novel. He's never obvious, so in Live a Little, his lovers are in their 90s. She is forgetful, keen on embroidery and skillful at tormenting her condescending carers. He is quite the catch, capable of managing his own shirt buttons, upright without a stick and good at talking without spitting, the most eligible nonagenarian bachelor. As always, Jacobson is sensitive and witty, always funny without being cruel, and as he's getting on a bit himself, a good reminder that there's much living to be done when there's not much living left. On the last night of the Woodstock Festival in 1969, 4 men faced a vast audience as they offered only acoustic guitars and harmonics. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young proceeded to cement their place in musical and cultural history. Peter Doggett has produced the first major biography of the band, if it was a band, chronicling the 4 singers' aggressive and competitive relationships, their astonishing pharmaceutical experiments, their almost always hurtful, often surely painful sexual adventures, and of course music that defined the culture and the politics of half a decade. This book defines an age that some of us regret was a little before our time. Finally, a novel from Alex Nathan, The Warlow Experiment, half Gothic horror, half Enlightenment experiment, fully in the tradition of Mary Shelley and Frankenstein. An 18th century squire aspires to science and so pays a desperate labourer to take part in a cruel experiment. The poor man must live comfortably in the basement of the manor house with the best books, the best food and the best wine, but absolutely no human company for 3 years. It's horrible.
Now in its 8th year, the Humber Street Sesh is an ambitious annual music festival on Hull's waterfront. This year's event features Yorkshire rising star Eva Barand. Tony Barker went to find out more.
Humber Street Sesh is special to me because it's based in the city I gig the most, and I'll get to gig with a load of my friends basically, and I know loads of people running it and everyone on the stages, so it's quite a close atmosphere really. It's great to play.
Tell me about the sort of songs you'll be performing on the day.
So I'll be playing a lot of my own songs. Some songs that I will be releasing later this year, which are called Pink Candy Floss, Imaginary Friends, The Island and The Hate She Gives.
We've spread it over the 2 days again, like we did last year, with the Friday night and the Saturday. There's over 14 stages at the festival and various elements. We have around about 200 bands and acts performing. There's a lot of DJs in that as well. We have lots of break dancers and graffiti artists, and there's photo exhibitions and art installations as well. But the highlights, I think, really, what it's all about really for us through the weekly session night is the bands and the artists. And On the Friday night, we're delighted to welcome the Hunter. It's our first step into bringing some bigger names to the festival.
Humber Street Sesh is on the 2nd and 3rd of August. Tickets from humberstreetsesh.co.uk. Now, here's Kirsty Hanna with more news of some of the best musical events around the region.
Expect outsider anthems that are androgynous, audacious and straight from the heart when the Soap Girls feature at the Yardbirds Rock Club in Grimsby on Friday the 26th of July. And influential Dunfermline art punk rockers, the Skids, will be at the Central Hall in Grimsby on Friday the 2nd of August.
David Davis, Liam Fox, who do we want?
New York band Tragedy are an all-metal tribute to the Bee Gees and beyond. Hailed as the #1 party band, they play metal covers of disco and pop hits. You can see them at the Polar Bear in Hull on Friday the 9th of August.
Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud, women won't. Been kicked around since I was born. You know it's alright, it's okay. You may look the other.
One of the most exciting rock musicians in the UK, Chantel McGregor, will be performing at Moon on the Water in Cleethorpes on Friday the 16th of August. And folk legend Julie Felix will be sharing tales from a stellar career that spans more than 50 years on Friday the 23rd of August.
I just want you to know I can see through your masks. You that never done nothing but build and destroy.
Much loved Sheffield electro-pop pioneers, the Human League, will be at Zebedee's Yard in Hull on Saturday the 24th of August. And finally, singer-songwriter Newton Faulkner brings his alluring mix of rhythm and harmony to the Civic Hall in Cottingham on Sunday the 25th of August.
After the break, wildlife in Beverley, summer sunsets in Louth and the latest Disney live-action movie in full review.
I'm taking a break because I'm losing it again, and I want to relate without you thinking I'm insane. Oh, it's the same, another train just sitting around with a record in my brain, and you could have everything you wanted, but you...
The Lincolnshire Rural Activity Centre, set in an area of outstanding natural beauty, is renowned for its superb equestrian facilities and home to the local pony club, North Links Riding Club and Lincolnshire Wolds Riding for the Disabled. The facilities are ideal for professional trainers and riders, including world eventing champion Ross Cantor.
It's just a great indoor environment. They sometimes behave a little bit better, and yeah, we really enjoy it here.
33 acres of pastures, woodland and gardens provide a safe and calm environment that is particularly suited to people with disabilities. For the Livali Daycare Group, it is an ideal home for the people they care for.
The area is just beautiful, and there couldn't be a nicer place to be.
Centre Manager Sarah Moss is developing a wider range of activities. To find out more about booking facilities, supporting the centre or volunteering, call 01507 608855 or visit the centre website. Coming up on tonight's show, radio stars in the theatre, women at war in Grimsby, and what's on where you are in box office. But first, here's a review of the latest film releases with actress and busy bee at the Business Hive, Jo Taylor.
On Film Review tonight, a glorious example of provocative storytelling in Never Look Away, the story of the man who brought opera to the people in Pavarotti, and Disney's most successful live-action remake yet. But first, non-fiction by acclaimed French director Olivier Assayas, a seductive tale of sex, lies and literature set amidst the bohemian intelligentsia of the Parisian publishing world. The tensions between art, commerce and technology are exposed and explored when a controversial writer begins blurring the line between fact and fiction, using his real-life love affairs as fodder for his explosive new novel.
Pourquoi tu dis ça?
Dans un couple, le désir, c'est pas le début, la fin de tout.
Je préfère vivre dans l'hypocrisie.
Bah, c'est pas l'hypocrisie, on est mariés depuis 20 ans.
Et toi, tu travailles sur quelque chose?
Bon, j'ai pas trop envie d'en parler.
Et ça avance?
Oh, oui, bien.
Bon, bonsoir.
Featuring history-making performances and intimate interviews, Pavarotti, by Academy Award winner Ron Howard, is a riveting account of the life and times, and of course the voice, of the man charged with bringing opera to the people.
Not being home, not being with his family.
He was crushed by injustice.
He became completely obsessed by what he could do for others.
I learned to love people.
You're a trusting person?
Are you joking? I will not exist if I don't trust people.
Based on the life of visual artist Gerard Richter, Never Look Away is a sweeping historical drama that follows the artist's life from his childhood in Nazi Germany and living under the communist in East Berlin until his eventual escape to the West to become part of the exciting new movement in contemporary art.
Sie nicht weg.
Our family film tonight is Disney's live-action remake of The Lion King. Simba's destiny to succeed his father, King Mustafa, is challenged by Scar, his father's brother. The battle for Pride Rock is ravaged with betrayal, tragedy and drama, resulting in Simba's exile. Simba eventually returns to take back his birthright, but with the help of his newfound friends, Timon and Pumbaa, who steal the show.
Take your place in the circle of life.
On DVD and Blu-ray, Coming Home from Eureka, Masters of Cinema, Bloody Terror from Powerhouse Films, and Night Moves and Scarecrow from Warner are also worth a look.
You can see the full review of tonight's films with Paul Lewis at www.billboardtv.uk. Despite any rumours to the contrary, radio is alive and well and can be found this month at the East Riding Theatre, where two zany DJs perform in the cafe bar. Tony Barker went to meet them.
The audience are coming to a radio studio and watching the DJs perform their set whilst it goes out live on air. So it has everything that you'd expect from a radio show. It has the news and the sport and the weather, and it has jingles, it has quizzes, it has features, it has street interviews. But it came about primarily because Mariana and I were writing together, and we had lots of material and we wanted a platform to put it on, and so we created the Twilight radio show primarily as a platform to present our work.
Immediately I think of Smashy and Nicey, that sort of caricature of radio DJs, you know, the cheesy style that we can be used to. How close do you get to that?
There's a bit of cheese in there. I mean, Stewie Stew, from the name, as you would imagine, is there's a little bit of that kind of stew pot cheese in there. But Loopy Lou is very different, because Loopy Lou is from Mexico City, so she comes from a completely different cultural background. So less cheese and more.
Yes, Mariana, you are Loopy Lou.
Less cheese and more tortillas.
Your turn. How would you describe yourself, Mariana, as Loopy Lou?
Well, she's a bit of a zany character.
Yeah.
She's got a weird sense of humor. She's like she lives in a different world. She lives in a different cloud.
The Twilight radio show is on the 9th and 10th of August in the Theatre Cafe Bar. Tickets from eastridingtheatre.co.uk. Also at the East Riding Theatre, a special holiday musical from She Productions is a modern-day fairy tale about teamwork and togetherness. Tony Barker went to meet the writers.
So we are presenting The Three Kingdoms, which is a new musical written by myself and Jessica Duffield, part of She Productions. It's part of our Young People's programme, which is 4 musicals throughout the year at the East Riding Theatre during the summer holidays. The idea is to provide low-cost arts provision for local families, and something to do in the holidays that's a little bit different.
We begin with a kingdom, with 3 kingdoms. One kingdom has been divided into 3, and we follow 3 siblings, and they've each been given 1/3 of the kingdom to rule as they wish. They are advised by their father to rule together, but as is often the way with siblings, they don't want to work with each other, so they all go off their separate ways.
So the show is, as I said, it's a musical. It starts in the East Riding Theatre Cafe Bar, and it's all about these 3 kingdoms, so you actually go on a little journey outside the theatre, but back in and coming into the main auditorium space.
The Three Kingdoms runs from the 14th to the 24th of August with 2 performances each day. Tickets from eastridingtheatre.co.uk. Decision Heights at the Caxton Theatre Grimsby tells the story of a group of women from diverse backgrounds who came together to fight their own war as women Air Force service pilots. Gail Littlefair talks to director Debbie Shepherd.
I was given a bit of a criteria. Our artistic director for the year had said that if possible, wasn't definite, but if possible, she would like all the plays during the year to have some sort of historical theme to it. So as soon as I was given that criteria, my chosen period in time is the 1940s during the war. I just love that era. Music, clothes, everybody pulling together, I just love it. So I just Googled plays during World War II, and this was the second one that came up. Never heard of it, so I thought I'll give this a read. Just read the first few pages that were available. Oh, absolutely loved it. So I bought the play, took it to the artistic director and said, what do you think to this one? And she just went, she rang me back and she went, I've got goosebumps, I love it. And I went, that's exactly how I felt. So that is why Decision Height.
There's thunder in the morning, there's vermin in the skies, there's slaughter in the sunlight.
Decision Heights runs until the 27th of July. Tickets from caxtontheatre.com. Gallery events around the region include a new exhibition by local artist Anne MacDonald at the Louth Art Gallery, thought-provoking exhibitions by Francis Disley and Jade Montserrat at the Humber Street Gallery, and the Wildlife Photographer of the Year exhibition at the Beverley Art Gallery. Tony Barker caught up with exhibition curator Helena Cox.
Altogether, it's 100 images, and I like to say it's the world's best 100 images of wildlife available here in Beverley.
Because the competition itself, it's a worldwide thing, and they must get loads and loads of entries.
Indeed, it's hundreds and hundreds, and the whole selection process takes ages because it's so complicated, and the photographs are so brilliant. It's really difficult. I don't envy the jury. It's very difficult to choose the winning images. And what I love about it is that these images come from all over the world, literally from all over the planet, and it's brilliant to see that people from wherever they come from, they are encouraged to send their photographs over, and they cover vast areas of countries that you probably would never travel to.
The exhibition runs until September at the Treasure House in Beverley. Entry is free. Now, here with a roundup of what's on where you are, our very own wildcat, Janine Reader, with Box Office.
Now, if you enjoy your picnic, you can bring one to Gunby Hall near Spilsby on Saturday, the 17th of August, and enjoy an open-air production of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, staged by the Chapter House Theatre Company. Or you can enjoy live music and summer afternoon tea in the VIP suite of the Embassy Theatre in Skegness on Sunday, the 4th of August, or Sunday, the 11th of August. A full lineup of shows in the main auditorium includes the pulsating rhythms and melodic music of Rhythm of the Dance on Friday, the 2nd of August. Enjoy cocktails and street food while you dance the night away to the rhythms of Ibiza at the Louth Riverhead Theatre's Summer Sunset Party on Saturday, the 27th of July. And from the 8th to the 10th of August, Louth Playgoers musical comedy The Addams Family, directed by John Hewer, promised to be a hilarious treat. At Scunthorpe Baths Hall, Annie Fanny's Summer Panto School runs from the 5th to the 9th of August, and you can enjoy comic sketches, impressions, and your favourite musics from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s in a very special edition of the hit show That'll Be the Day on Sunday, the 4th of August.
Well, that's almost all for this month's show. You can keep up to date with the latest entertainment news in our Facebook page, and to make sure you don't miss any of our programmes, click the subscribe button below or go to www.billboardtv.uk. If you would like us to feature your own event on Billboard TV, you can email details to news@billboardtv.uk. From everyone at Billboard TV, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next month with more entertaining news, entertaining guests and great music.
He told me